Woke up this morning, stubbed my toe on hope. It was hiding by the dresser, guess I couldn't cope with seeing it first thing, all shiny and demanding, like a motivation poster that needs better understanding. My coffee tasted like ambition, slightly burnt and weak. My reflection whispered, better days don't even speak, till you've conquered that weird smell coming from the fridge door hinge, or figured out why socks vanish on a laundry binge. Oh, the legend of the better days, they're coming soon, they say, like a package you forgot you ordered, stuck somewhere halfway. They're riding unicorns, perhaps, or arriving on a breeze. But right now I'm just wrestling with today's awkward sneeze. So here's the plan, profound and grand, ridiculously clear. We'll tackle all that sunshine, one slightly frazzled day a year. No way, one day at a time, yeah, that's the slightly saner scheme. Just keep putting one foot forward, fueled by caffeine and a dream. I tried to make a vision board, it mostly looked like snacks and pictures of celebrities avoiding income tax. My grand plan for improvement gets derailed by shiny things, or the sudden urgent need to know who really sings.
Hey, good morning, good morning. Hello, guys. I'm letting people come into the room and um, so this is an unexpected live stream. Usually we've been doing them Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. With George working, we've kind of changed it. He's out today, and tomorrow he should be back in. He's out and about. He may come in during the live. Hi, Linda. And thank you for everybody joining the live stream. But before we begin today, I want to take a moment to address the heartbreaking news about Vancouver and the parade this past Saturday, okay? We had learned about the tragedy as it was actually unfolding. And as, of course, you guys know, with us living here in the Philippines, my husband being Filipino, and such a tragic situation, it's really affected a lot of people. It's a very senseless act of violence, and we're very saddened and shocked by this. It's very overwhelming. Sorry, I don't get it, but sorry, guys. It's been a year since the other incident happened there, and Filipinos go abroad, and they're the biggest part of nursing. They're the biggest part of most industries, the most caring people. Yeah, like anybody, there can be bad seeds, among any culture or people from different countries. But the Filipinos are known to be reserved, very resilient, and they are the backbone of Canada. Okay, my heart aches currently for the families, and it's got to be an unimaginable pain right now. Damn the steroids and hormones. But again, our heart goes out to these people. And some of the statistics that I got is the street party had drawn over 100,000 people throughout the day, according to the media. And Filipino Canadians make up the fourth largest visible group in Canada, third largest in the British Columbia area. 170,000 Filipinos live in that province, and 38,000 of the people of Filipino heritage lived in that city as of 2021. So that is a lot of people, guys. Okay, and they're like I said, that's where a lot of them go, is to Canada. It's the Philippines' top exporter of labor. So that's what I was talking about. I don't have much on the suspect. Um, I know they're saying he's in his 30s, and it says the authorities had been aware of his mental health issues. So, and it took a lot of restraint to, not as Filipinos or whatever, to get like street justice right away or go after the guy. I seen his SUV, um, and that they didn't, they held him down and until where the cops had actually come through. So a very, very sad incident. Um, so again, our hearts go out, and very, very senseless with all the stuff going on. Nobody's safe anywhere. That's the live stream that we'll probably have tomorrow that me and George was talking about. It's just dark everywhere. It doesn't matter. Every corner of the continent is so dark right now, guys. It's, nothing sacred anywhere. And this was after me and George watched. There was a um, deal where they were showing in Italy how the business owners are still being held for, like, the official tax money from, people. I don't want to say the name, and they're being extorted on a daily basis, monthly basis, just to run businesses there. And the same with the violence is in every corner of the earth. So there's just no real safe place. So, and probably we will touch on the pros and cons of, how they're outweighing each other tomorrow, because, it's just not one reason I'm here. There's multiple reasons, and um, I don't find enough cons to actually leave. I'm asked all the time, "Are you leaving, or why do you stay?" And I know my adult children and others are in America are like, "Oh, we'll just come back," or whatever. I'm like, "No," I said, it's you always go, "It's not so bad." So things are hell in all places. So, but that's kind of where it is. So, hey, Ted, what's going on? Yeah, I'm hoping, as much as we talk about we're not moving anytime soon, eventually we want to move further out of the city, but then there comes problems, especially here, internet connection issues. You have, where I rely on when he's working, like deliveries, and there's days I can't do anything and rely on the deliveries. And if we move outside the area, it'd be hard for me. Plus, we're really close to hospitals and an emergency. So that's the biggest reason. So, yeah, so Ted had that. Do, do, do. Yeah, that's why I don't. I hear you on that. So, um, thank you so much. It's much appreciated, guys. When you guys do that, it means a lot. I mean, I forgot. With the digital nomad visa, I'll discuss, like, a lot of people were hoping that they'd be able to use this for the YouTube, because a lot of people still need visas. They got to determine what type of retirement visa, if they're going to keep renewing the visa for tourism, which is really rough. They're going to start cutting down on that and make people, either they're going to make them get the proper visas. But it would really be hard to make 2 grand a month from YouTube. So a lot of the money we get is where people give us the sticker money, and then people do the memberships, and the actual uh, stuff that pays out from AdSense is, I think, our biggest month with stickers and everything was our birthday month. I think we were in $500-600, and that's the entire month, and that was with a lot of views. So, so to make 2 grand, I don't think too many vloggers are doing that. Of course, I know the P is doing that. Probably Paul and them are making over 2 grand a month. But if you can get financed, like paid for doing social media, then usually it's not that much. So I do it as a creative, what do they call it now? The creative outlet or something. So, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Lets us know that you care. And then, of course, I can put that towards George's funeral funds. And in cat funds. Speaking of cat funds, ow! Look who's here. Look who joined. There's Calvin. Say hi, Calvin. Oh my goodness, this boy is full of it. Say hi, Calvin. Look at there. There's the camera. What are you looking at? That's me. Look. What are you looking at? Are you looking at Ted? I know. Look at everybody. They look weird, don't they? Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Look how big he is. He's even bigger, guys. Look at the size of this monster. Doesn't he look like one of those, what are they called? Those, not bobcats, but look at the hair coming out of his ears. See, it's, but we did officially name him Geo because we were calling him Salem, but his dad outside, literally there's a black cat. So we know who your dad is, but there's Geo because we have Gucci upstairs and thought we'd go with Giovanni. But interesting enough, we did not get the two cats fixed on Saturday. We went to the actual veterinarian office that's right up the road and we got bumped out. So now I think I told George, I said, to guarantee it, we're going to go ahead and bring the vet in, which is about twice the cost to have it done. But and mom is still feeding. And so anyways, I digress. But yes, Jennifer, that is very sad. Prayers to all the Philippine citizens affected by the horrible event in Vancouver. It's just absolutely tragic. Me on double steroids. I don't know whether to cry or punch somebody. Hey, MB, I'll say my hellos and get into the nitty gritty basics of it because I've heard several channels cover this already. And weirdly enough, this was just covered from World Zoom living in the United States. But we do have vloggers living in the United States that cover Filipino topics. His channel was on, then he turned it off, and then it came back on. Then somebody said he started a brand new channel. It looks like the same channel to me, and so it's got this. It's an old. It wasn't recently started, so I think he's just turning it off. And then he did this, and I think he left some things out. And I was meaning to cover it, but we really don't get into those topics. But I think some people may attempt to use this type of situation. The digital nomad visa is going to be different, a little different than like if you come here and work. It's got to be online work through your computer. I think the visas are going to be for about a year, but I'll get into that here in a minute. But hey, MB. Hey, good morning again. Hi, Linda. Good morning, Carl. Good morning. Sorry, I didn't know I was working. Yeah, it was. Somebody reached out to us. Ted reached out again to us. I believe you sent that yesterday, and it was just with us watching YouTube all the time and always in there looking for updates. We see it coming in. Yeah, you said that's why. What's up, M Dogful? They must have settled the estate. Jen is driving around in a brand new car. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, I wouldn't have imagined. So someone might have been right. He might have had insurance of some sort because this would be about the time to get paid out, settle the estate and everything if she's got a car. But it would not surprise me. This comes from Simpville either. So remember, they were waiting in the wind anyways. And these guys send an extraordinary amount of money to these women. And I would think that they would know, like, from doing it. But I mean, it's their money. So they can, do whatever. And it wouldn't take long for that type of money to gather. So my guess is from the guys sending money. Because he's talked about it before. I didn't ever hear him mention anything about having life insurance, but they probably didn't talk about that. I know he really used to get into his own business and say things, but I don't think he did, but there must have been that or Simpville. These problems exist worldwide. Yeah, everything exists everywhere. This is election time, and I know they've been going over the Korean guy that just got he had been attacked and robbed and everything on the street of Angel City. But Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff going on in the cities, in Manila and Tondo and Angeles City. There's other issues going on too. And he's not the first Korean that's been attacked being in this area. It's a in the Angeles City area, Walking Street is not the entire like that situation of the massage parlors and the girly bars and the bar fines and all the legal girlfriends that are going on down here. There's going to bring shadiness down here. And there's so much more going on, but it's not enough to be like, hey, am I going to step out and something's going to happen? I don't have any problems. We haven't had any problems, but you never know. But yes, problems exist worldwide. Hey, smile and be happy. Are you being pressured to do shorts? I'd rather watch a live or long video. No, not really. If you guys see shorts, in the beginning we did it. We've been doing this now for 5 years, and shorts. They weren't really doing shorts when we. That's how long we've been doing YouTube. There weren't shorts. They were just videos. When the shorts came out, they were pushing them. And the reason we do them now, we don't really get paid for them. You'd have to have millions just to make $1. It really, you would have to have a ton of views. The reason I do it and George makes them is for advertisement. So that way, if there's a live stream, if I create a short out of it, then people will click on the video that's linked to it. It's advertisement. For us, it's just quick, it goes through and people see us. They'll either click or they won't, is the biggest reason. So we do, and that's why we went to the live streams. I have some footage that George uploaded in the computer last night when he was out and about, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it because a lot of it is bloodied because it's the martyrs and stuff were whipping themselves, and we can't use that. If you guys see that stuff through the news or other channels, or you see they got 1 million views, it's because they're not monetized. And we're not going to throw away $100 a month in advertisement, which is pretty much what it is. The rest of it comes from our memberships and other things pay when it comes to that. But if you see that they're putting that stuff on, it means they're not really monetized. They've got sponsors or they're just doing it. And unfortunately, that, and in the long run, if they feel, they can take your channel for it. Weirdly, it's one of their rules about things like that. So it's not, only that, we also fear losing the channel. But we were going to drop a video on that, but it's still got to be edited. We still have some tidbits from a week ago from the holiday, but I don't know when it's going to come out. Probably tomorrow. So probably tomorrow. So, hey, what's going on? Good morning. He does. He looks like a panther and he's huge. Here's the thing about that sucker. His nails always stay out. They're almost 3 months old and they stay out. He never retracts them, which hurts. He's one that I want to keep. Right now, it appears I may keep them all. The only one that's not really getting around with the crowd is Mom fights with the other cats. She's good probably 50% of the time, but all of a sudden she kind of lifts up her tail end and she just wants to fight anybody. Like she looks around the room and she literally bows up and comes and jumps on them and she fights with people just randomly. And so I don't like when she attacks the other cats like that, but I still think it has something to do with the kittens, although the kittens are sleeping in the other room when she does it. But she could just be wanting to play rough. And her Calvin, they're both alike. He keeps getting up on the counters. They can clear the counters now. They don't need anything to climb on. And they get up there, and I caught Calvin with his face down in the bowl of butter. I leave like butter on the counter for our toast in the morning. And so that way it's soft. And I didn't put a cover over it. He was up there. He ate a half a stick of butter before I could get to him. And I was like, dang it, Calvin. So he's, he is problems. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs like having pets. I hear you. I wish we had, the house is big enough for the amount of cats we have. And they mostly go upstairs. We have a spare bedroom that's set up so they can watch cat TV outside. And They only come down here, like half of them usually stay upstairs and the other half come down here, and we have 3 air filters in the house, so it kind of helps. Put this down here. The fan, I think it's making me itch. Ugh. I had a little fan up here. Let's see. See, this is a new fan that I've got. It's actually pretty cool. You could see where it's digital and it's pretty sweet. But yeah, it's been up to 100 degrees. Hey, Tony, what is going on? Hey, Pablo, what is going on? Sperlin Edwards checking in for Lapita. Hey, what is going on? Scott. Hey, Rob. Yeah, simping ain't easy, man. uh, hey, Sarah, what is going on? He does, doesn't he? Skin funds. All right, so let's get into what I got going on. All right, so the Digital Nomad Visa. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember on that. The Digital Nomad Visa was supposed to be worked on, and it's been more than a year and a half. Last February, I think it was supposed to be activated, or the February before, I don't remember, but they never got to it. So officially, they did pass. The Digital Nomad is a category of online professionals who do their work remotely anywhere in the world. I know that Thailand, I think, just put theirs together, and the Philippines wants to follow, and they're wanting to bring in more tourism because they're having a hard time. Well, in my opinion, until they fix the infrastructure and get the internet together, we're in a city and it goes down. It like glitches and goes down sometimes 2, 3 times a day. Like if I'm watching something or doing something online, it'll literally stop and spin out and it'll say no internet connection. So, and we have the fast one. And so we don't pay for like the bare minimum one. We're not using like load or something and trying to use it that way. It's actually connected. And we have Ethernet, which runs directly to the computer. But so the president the other day did sign the order, so it looks like it's going to go in place. Okay, who is eligible and the criteria? Well, of course, they've got to be 18. And next, they must provide proof of their remote work, and they're going to want that from the digital technology employers, whoever it is. You're going to have to provide something. Okay. An example that I wanted to give, because a lot of guys coming here are now becoming YouTubers, and they at least a portion of them get monetized. They're getting 20, 30, 40, $50 a month, $100. If these people are making more than $100 on average, I'd be surprised, because the money is in more of the side hustles and passing on insurance and getting other companies to pay for things and getting big sponsors. But you would have to prove that as a YouTuber. And so you could probably get a letter, like there's things that you can print out on AdSense that shows this. You could print out your Patreon and all the other stuff. But it looks to be, it's going to be at least two grand a month. And so that's really going to be hard to prove. Now, on other jobs, it will be. Some were actually doing it part-time and everything else. Let's see, like part-time, their jobs are going to need to be full-time. So let's see. The official implementation, they're saying late May, June, or July. They're kind of putting it in there. And they are going to need to provide proof of income for content creators and such. Let's see, threshold 2,000. Criminal record is next. Must provide proof of you have no criminal record. So, and that's going to be from your home country. So you're going to have to get that, and that's probably going to have to be apostilled and everything. When you bring that and you go to give it to them to apply for the visa, or whether it's done online, more than likely you're going to need it apostilled or at the local embassies where you would go in your country. like in the United States, health insurance will be a must. Okay. So these visas, in my opinion, will be really unobtainable by quite a few people for multiple reasons. One, the health insurance, you would have to keep the health insurance. The other part is like getting the proof where you work and everything. It could be multiple companies. And then I'm going to give you a list of countries, and I'm going to let you know the United States is not on that list. So that's another thing. People have not listed the countries that can apply for it. So for people that are working abroad and doing that, and see, here's going to be the different category of the teachers, like the online teaching and everything else. For those that are already in the country, I don't think a lot of those teachers are making 2 grand a month either. So I don't know if they're going to be able to apply. But um, the qualifications of the countries is going to be, all right, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Germany, Greece, Croatia, Norway, the Czech Republic, Romania, Canada. Did I already say Mexico? I guess I didn't. Kind of going down the road here. Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, and that's it, people. That's absolutely it. And so the reason being is that the other country has to be reciprocal. They've got to offer the Filipinos an actual digital nomad visa. And if their countries are not doing that, then you can't apply. So there it is. And also, they must have an embassy in that country, which there are others that offer it, but they don't have them. They don't have the embassy or the what was the other section. So without that, without it being reciprocal, it cut out on a lot of people, including America. So that's kind of crazy. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, wow, I can't. But you'd be surprised how many people may actually try to take advantage of this. But here's the thing, you got to go through all that and pay the fees. The fees haven't been mentioned yet. But I'm sure it's up there, and it's only 1 year at a time. So imagine having to put the insurance when people are coming here on tourist visa, they'll just renew for 3 years and slip back out. So you ask yourself, like, well, why don't they do that? Because um, you still working online in the Philippines is still a problem. Technically, up to this point, if you were doing that, if you were staying here short period, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Your taxes go back to your country. But when a lot of these guys have been here for 10 years and 8 years and 20 years and they're bragging that they work online, they're supposed to be paying their taxes here. It's like the YouTubers and all these other things. You have to, get with your tax people and figure all that out. So up to now, this may be a blessing, and then they may try to throw a lot of other people in this category if they find out that they're working and stuff. So it'll be for 1 year. Let's see where to apply through the embassies, as I said. Security clearances, executive order 86 will be effective. It says June or July, maybe even May. Of course, with the taxation, you won't. Being it's only a year, that's going to be the bonus of that. Is with the digital nomad visa, you'll be paying taxes for sure back to your country. So why even mention this, if it's not true for those that are currently here working online and all that? Those people are supposed to be paying taxes here. Just trust me, you're supposed to, especially when you're a resident. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I just pay my taxes back in the United States because that's the rules and that's the way it's supposed to be. And it's like, yeah, but you're living here full time. You don't own a house. You don't have a residency. You've been living here for years. I get that you're still a United States or I'm not sure about Canada. I know about the US. Some rules apply depending on other things. I'm not a tax person, but in general, several years ago, they said that people working online had to start paying taxes. So they were doing that to the Filipinos and even for foreigners. And, some are applying, some aren't. And so it's another option for people to get a visa. There's the SRRV. I heard some guy, which didn't make any sense. He's new at helping people Like, I guess he's got a local office in the Philippines where he's helping people do the SRRVs. And he says, "Oh, well, I got 6 people in here. Only 2 of them will apply for it. They decide to go after another visa." And I'm like, well, if they're staying here long term, how many other visas does an older expat qualify for? If they're not married, then they can't apply for that. And I mean, there are some business opportunities with X amount of investment. You can, I mean, this would be somebody, at the office. I don't know if they would have advised people to leave the country every 3 years, but you're taking a big chance. You could leave and then they not let you back in. To me, and then once you get a certain age, you're like traveling is going to be a problem. So that's why I pushed through with mine, because we were going to leave last year or over a year ago. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel like going in and out of the country every few years. So it's just kind of where it is. So, hmm. But I don't know, but you don't need insurance with anything else. I don't even think SRRVs. I don't know. Remind me, does SRRVs require insurance? I don't think so. It's changed so many different things. I don't think it does. Well, here it says yes for the human touch, but it probably depends if you have medical issues or not. According to here, it does. You need to provide evidence of health insurance coverage that is acceptable. Okay. So then I totally missed that. We did a video a while back. I think we got a few of them that are on the channel. But I thought that was for those that have health issues, but usually those that are coming long term and coming here to stay based on that are retired have one issue or another. So, yeah. Uh-huh. I'll get that down. Skin. Is the new pope the cardinal from the Philippines? I don't know. Did they decide on who? I know that he's in the running and they're really excited here. Oh, is that the coffee? Yeah, I think they're still doing that conclave. I know that he's in the running, so which is interesting. How do you guys manage so much cat litter? Really, it's not as bad as you guys think. I know people have made, I mean, I know you're asking separately, but in general, there are people are pet lovers here in the Philippines. Like they create entire, like the whole outside that we have out there, people will turn it into a cat house. And there is it's not as bad. The cost is costly. We go through, I change it. We have several cat boxes, but we have an oversized, like it looks like a cat box, like a sandbox that makes it easier to clean. And that is upstairs. So it almost looks like a kitty box. And we clean it that way. And then we have several others. Now they claim that you need one per cat. Well, 4 of them are tiny, so we really don't. So I don't know. It's just the cost that's actually there. So we clean it twice a day. So it gets cleaned in early morning and then it gets cleaned after dinner. So not as bad. Noah's Ark Animal Shelter, the dog and cat shelter that we've supported over the years, and you'll see me forward stuff on Facebook. That she has, like, she's got hundreds of animals, and inside this oversized atrium, like cat house, that's made with netting and everything. I don't know how she does it either with that many, but that's a lot of cats. There's like probably 200-300 inside that cage. So us having, a half a dozen and a few small kittens is not yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. It's the cost sometimes. Like I said, pretty much the money goes back from the YouTube, and the sticker money goes right back into the large bags of cat and dog food, the ones we feed outside the strays, the cat litter. The cat litter is about $6 a bag, and we can go through 10 or 12 a month. So it doesn't take long. And then of course the vet bill, the oils, the flea oils and all that. But it's what we enjoy. So it's thank you for asking, Jen. We can't leave food items on our counter because the Persian cats, they get everything. Man, that Calvin, man. I was like, I'm gonna slap your lips off today, Calvin. And it's not the first time, like the little tiny one, Megan, we had a scare with her a couple weeks ago where she was really sick and she went on antibiotics, but now she's doing better, but she's still the runt. I watched her from the floor spring up and then she landed on the counter. I said, how are you guys doing this? And yeah, nothing can be left out right now, but I do use the spray on like water, the bad cat, because they were getting bad. Like they weren't listening. They thought it was just a party. And so I had to start doing something because when I was cooking, they were up there. And the other day I was taking chicken off of a bone. We had some leftover cold chicken. They literally attacked me. I thought they were going to chew my fingers off. I was like, this is getting crazy. And I said, I'm going to have to resort to the bad cat spray. So basically, it's a spray bottle on the wide mist, and I only had to do it a few times. And in the last few days, they've hardly been up there. So it's just a lot of people don't approve of it, but hey, hard saying. Let's see. Had another incident this weekend. Well, not this weekend, a few days ago over our electric bill. I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. I'm not really happy because if we didn't have money, it would be even sadder if it happened to a Filipino. But they're correcting it. The good thing I could say is they're correcting it. So let me get to this here first. My cat Winston is very friendly, but also very mischievous. Oh man, yeah, it's and the kittens. I George told me when we brought the kittens inside. He says, "You do remember what happened the last time before we rehomed the last bunch?" I was like, they're so cute, and I can't leave them out there to die." And I was going through all this sadness. I'm like, now I remember. So I told George, I said, I don't care how sad or I give you the puppy dog looks. Don't let me take another set of cats in. And the sad part is China just had another set, but she takes them off into and she has them across in the lot, but we never see them. We don't know if she's abandoning them or if she's just raising them over there until they can walk out of that pit across the street. And there are so many of them to actually fix. It's really sad. Very, very sad. Hey, Sarah, got your popcorn. Yeah. The world depends on the US to be big spenders. Other countries are more responsible. Yeah, that's getting kind of crazy. You know, I hope that the president gets all the tariffs together. The one thing I'll agree with him is that I don't oppose of Donald Trump. I'm neither for one politician or the other. I'm about the policies. And me and Georgia mentioned that before. A lot of people think, oh, because you say good about them or bad about them, we hate. The same about vloggers. We don't hate or dislike any vloggers. None of them. Not one of them. We may talk some smack on the side, but that doesn't mean, it's YouTube, guys. It's what we actually do. And, but when it comes down to that, I think that America needed to get their money. I get that. But he's implementing so many policies and so many different things that have to get through that it's really going to start like backhanding people eventually, like with the tariffs. Now the what do you call the I want to call it a crate, but they're being backed up on the ports all over the world now, and nobody's going to pay those incoming like the tariffs and the different things that are going on. The shelves are starting to empty, It affects the truck drivers, the guys working on the dock. They're laying them off around the world because they don't need them because they're not going to go anywhere. I think it's going to take months and months and months to get this all switched around. But, I agree on that, that, you know, I just hope they resolve something soon. He doesn't seem to be worried about the president. So, and Lapita, our internet goes off and on a regular. Yeah. And we're having the power surges. So we're dealing with two things right now, Sperlin. We've been getting the power on and off, and that's because it's been almost 100 degrees in the Angeles City, Mabalacat area, which we're only 2 miles from the airport. And we get the power surges where it you can kind of see the lights flickering sometimes. Matter of fact, yeah, it's kind of weird now. But when that does that, it seems to trip the breakers. We put surge protectors on things. And when it went down more than a week ago, I told you guys that the socket that attaches to the outside dirty kitchen and they're like meeting through the wall went down. Now I was shocked. The landlord did show up, but it took, I don't know, he came Wednesday, like the day after the live stream. Last time I talked to you guys. Well, yeah, no, we had live Thursday. So yeah, that's what it meant. But he came in pretty quick. I was telling you guys, he came in. He didn't do anything. He didn't walk up to test it. He didn't like look. He looked at the breaker, but he says, "Okay, there's a spot there," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, there's an empty slot to put another fuse in there." But he didn't really do anything, and they came like at 7:30 at night, and then he was like, "Oh, can I come back another day to do the work?" And I'm like, "Okay," which was probably my mistake. So we've been ordering food and cooking out of the microwave because that's the only safe place to cook. So we use them ceramic hot plates and everything else because a stove takes too much gas to run and it's way too expensive. And if you get the electric one, it's way too expensive. So when we don't need a bunch of burners, so we've just always had this over the last 4 years here and can't use it. I'm not putting it on anything else but the ceramic place so nothing catches on fire or nothing. So we have one other plug that's by the refrigerator. I can't cook on top of the refrigerator. So, in saying that, there was that issue, but he has not returned. I told Georgia he'll probably be back in about 2 weeks. And so it's on Filipino time. And the other part is we went to go pay the electric bill. We've been doing it online. Remember, I was telling you guys that, and I probably jinxed myself. You can do it through Gcash. You can do it through your bank. Pelco 2 is not available through either of our banks. We have two banks here. And there is Bayad. And Bayad is another online digital platform. It's worked fine for 4 or 5 months. And then all of a sudden, and you don't want to do it on the weekend or after hours. For some reason, if you try to pay bills during that time, issues happen. It was morning time during business hours, and it took the money out of the bank, but it didn't apply it towards the electric bill. Usually it shows up in an email. I waited a few hours, nothing happened. I emailed them. They've been very communicating really well. And turns out they're claiming they went back and forth saying basically it was the bank's fault, and I knew it wasn't. So I had to wait for it to clear through the bank to prove that they took the money after they blamed the bank. And then they come back and said, hey, we didn't pay the electric company. It didn't go through. The digital transfer didn't go through. We're giving you a refund. Okay, how long is it going to be to get back my money? And they're like, oh, we don't know. It's been 4 days, 5 days. So the problem with that is it's over 11,000 pesos. That's a lot of money in the Philippines. It's a lot of money to me. I'm not going to lose that because we had an incident when we first got here with the bank. The bank said they gave us 3 transactions of 200 and it never happened. We had the receipts and everything else and it never happened. They told our bank that they paid us and that the money was given through the ATM. We had proof of everything. We still lost that. We lost 10,000 pesos when we first got here. And turned out, like George said, the inside teller, when they counted it down that night and seen there was extra money, they kept it. And they're not going to admit to it. And those same people are telling the bank in the US they didn't get the money. So at this point, we're down 11,000, 11.5 in electric money. And we may not even see that for a week to 10 days. And I said, well, why can't you apply a credit? You're admitting you have the money. Yes, ma'am. Okay, can I have that in the digital wallet that you guys have? Well, we're going to refund it. And I said, why can't you give me back the money? You've got it. Yes, we do. And I said, give me it in a digital wallet. They won't do it. Not the managers, nothing. So now I said, you do know my electric bill's due on the first. They only give a 7 to 10 day grace period in the Philippines to pay the bill. So now I was like, I mean, what if I was just a Filipino that making 20,000 pesos a month? I guess the electric bill wouldn't be 11,000, but let's say it is. Let's say they have a grandmother that's sick. You can't afford to lose that kind of money. So we're going to currently eat it until it shows back up in the bank and we have to manually go pay it. So just another issue. It could happen in the US, guys, for sure. That's for sure. But it's very disturbing that they're admitting they have the money, but they won't retransfer it again. Like they won't do it or they won't drop it. They're unwilling to resolve these issues. And that would be customer service here for sure. That's what's going on. Hey, Victor, what's going on? Coffee, coffee, coffee. Prank YouTubers should be banned. Yeah, I think that type of vlogging, and it's getting crazier. The one thing that I noticed that made us slow down in just doing content is because people are spending more money they don't have. They're doing crazier stunts. They're going above to make their channels look better. They're buying fancier clothes. They're doing weirder things when they're cooking, and they're just trying to be 10 steps ahead of the next person, and they're putting a ton of money into it. Like a lot of the YouTube channels, even here in the Philippines, they're paying for bots, they're paying for extra advertisement, they're paying for everything to put their channels up there. But I guarantee that it's sinking like how much money they're making. But I think these guys are putting the money into the channel so they look like they're not slipping. So it's not organic channels. And we're just not going to, they're getting crazier and crazier and crazier. The amount of money, equipment, cameras that they're, we're out on that. We're just going to be about as simple as it can be. Hey, good morning, Mike. Can't use it the US or Australia or the UK. Yeah, I gave a list of the countries, yes. Yeah, the ones that actually will. That's the insanity is none of the big countries qualify for it. It has to be reciprocal. So yeah, I just thought and think about what you said. Yeah. I'll cut a clip of just that out, although I thought it would come out smoother saying it. And I'm like, well, instead of sitting down and kind of just doing a video on it, I would do it. But hey, what's going on, Slick Rick? What is going on? Hello from the beautiful city of San Francisco. Victor. No digital nomad visas for any countries that does not already have. Yes, reciprocal. Yeah. Hey. I thought it was good for 2 years. Well, no, they're claiming it'll be a year, so not 2 years. So they talked about that. I think it's been 2 years ago because this isn't recent. Like I remember, it seemed like it was right out of the pandemic they mentioned this, and we covered that there's going to be a digital nomad visa and it should cover YouTubers, but I'm telling you, not many are making $2,000. There's only a percentage of people that get to the monetization point. And when they do, there's no guarantee of how much money. $2,000 is a lot. I bet you that falls under 5% of them. That's a lot of money. Hey, what is going on? Good morning, Jen. Good morning. Yeah. So they'll need health insurance. Yeah. Oh, he was Asian. I didn't know he was Asian because I tried to read a few articles this morning. Yeah. Thank you, Donna. Covered that in the beginning. I started getting all teary. It's just very upsetting. It's extremely upsetting. I leave out every 2 years. Yeah. And then you would have to be digital. So unless you're making $2,000 and you can prove it, and it's probably got to be from one company. They may accept multiple letters showing the income. And they may even, it's not totally in writing on that amount. There was it Brazil or Argentina or somebody mentioned recently they needed the 2 grand, but you had to prove how much money was in your account, bank account too. And that's what we ran into Mexico, is that they wanted us to prove that we had X amount of money and it had to be in the bank for, I thought they said 5 years, 2 years. I'll have to look it up how long, but it wasn't just 2 or 3 months that it had to be in there. And with us moving, transferring, spending money, and all this stuff over that period of time, no, we did not have that money in the bank all the time for over, I think it was 2 years. We could not prove that we had X amount for over 2 years, and that, that was the balance. Just no way. Yeah, I'm not even sure who will use it considering those other countries, but there'll be some people that, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't just come in and avoid the insurance. I mean, I'm not believing those countries, which a lot of them are also, from poorer areas, like that they're going to come in and they're going to pay for insurance. Insurance could be a couple hundred a month. Why would they do that? They can just come in on a tourist visa and try to file their taxes however they're doing it. I don't get it. They will find a way around it. The only problem is I think they're gearing up to cut down on people working here, period. Whether it's YouTubers, digital people, all that. They're supposed to get a work permit one way or the other, and you don't have to get a work permit. So there's ways, there's people been doing it forever. There's tons of guys here working that are doing the teaching and everything, but I just can't see who's going to do it. But I guess I got to put it out there for those that are going to do it. Louis Antonio Taggle. Yeah, the Cardinal. Yes, that's him. Yeah, do it twice a day, and they're big boxes. I could probably put the one that's big, is the big one. I could probably put 6 of the cats in there, like if you stack them in there. That's how it's really big. So just makes it easier that way. So, and then we empty it out and refill it. We have, like I said, we have 2 air purifiers and there's one. So technically there's 3 in the house, and the house is vented upstairs, and yeah, we sweep and mop. And so, yeah, and then they get the flea oils and everything. Although when I did the flea oil again, every time it does, it seems like I break out. That's either because the fleas jump off of them and on me, and I have fleas for a few days, or I'm allergic to the oil. And it could be that I'm allergic to the oil. Hey, what's going on, Cindy? Getting internet here is unreliable, as many tell me over the years. Lots of stories where repairmen of top internet services came week or months later to fix. Yeah, just how things are here. Yeah. Um, when we first had service hooked up 4 years ago, oh, be nice, mommy. Stop. She calls for the kids out loud. Was thinking she was in heat. She's calling for the kids. Very voice. They're sleeping, sweetie. That it took 3 days. Like literally, they were on it. They were here quicker than the U.S. When we moved here, it took 2 weeks to get the internet turned on. They were not as quick after a reconnection. If you're getting initial service, then yeah. But we've upgraded a few times and we're not going to do it anymore because I think it put us into a 2 year lockup with them. And they kept calling us after 6 months and saying, "Hey, we got a better service," and we just stopped. We stopped falling for that one. So water gun. Yeah, it's probably what I need to do. The reason the direct spray, I use it when it's at a distance, so I'm not chasing them. But it seems like when they get the entire spray, I guess the sound really, really gets them. I know it's cruel, but they do. They're, the biggest cat fights happens with mom. She's been known, there are 3 different cats she goes after at almost all times. And I'm just reading through your comments here. Sounds like a registered independent as I am. Well, I wouldn't call it that because I don't even like them either. I'm about the policy itself. Politics up to now have never really been my thing. When it starts affecting individuals or large amounts, and it's all over the news, and then you hear things, it kind of, kind of like I don't even know what the deal is with them saying that 2-year-old got deported, and it was in the news, and he's, the president's admitting it, and I'm like, well, did the parent go with them? Did they randomly just put a kid on? Was this the undue process thing again? And it's not, let's say the policy is good and then something is wrong about it and they do something weird. It's about the individual situation going on. It was whether, I have a problem with it or not. It's the individual situation. Our internet is so bad that it has me thinking about Starlink, and Starlink is bad. They said that was going to be the Hail Mary and the saving grace and all that, and some of the speed is really slow. There's some people that like it. Yeah, when you're already getting trickles of water and then they give you a glass of water, then you're like, "Oh, hell yeah." But it's when you're already used to, you go yes, yes, and yes, like the US. And then when we got to Mexico, the internet was really crappy in Mexico, but we were out in the mountains. In order to upload a video that we had that was 15 minutes long, it could take 4 hours. That's how slow the internet was. Here, it does upload, but it cuts out all the time. So I'm thinking there's something wrong with the equipment or the phone or the computer. And it just turns out that it's really the internet. Yeah. San Francisco Giants versus Phillies, July 7th, 8th, and 9th. A little bit late for the Digital Nomad Visa since a lot of IT companies want workers back to the office. Oh, there's tons of jobs out there. Yeah, I mean, I know they were wanting the government employees and some of the others after the pandemic, but there's still a ton of jobs that people are doing at home that can be done. So I just think it stinks that a lot of those other countries can't. And here's another thing, the reciprocal thing. Even if the Filipinos could get the digital nomad visas and the other country to accept it, it still takes a lot to let them out of the country. And so for good reasons, because of, the other situations that happen with trafficking and such, but then there's all those other qualifications. So, but yeah, the fact the big ones got cut out, that's been the answer is like, oh, no UK, no Australia, no America. Bam, what's the deal? So, but there'll be a lot of Canadians here. We have good internet, water pressure, irrigation canal along the front of the home, and fairly consistent power. Well, then you're a very lucky man for all the above to happen. Can you see my fingers right now, Rob? But you can't. But no, the fact that you have all those water pressure, good internet, and constant power. And that's something I thought we would have, especially here. And it's actually not. And water pressure is a no. Now, the only reason we have water pressure in one part of the house is because we have a water pump. When I found that out from George, I was like, I'm trying to take a shower here and there's barely any water. And George's like, okay, I'll install a water pump. George won't even say nothing. If there's trickles of water coming out, he'll just take the shower and not say anything. And then if I say something, I look crazy. It's kind of like I'm complaining and bitching, which, sorry, I would like a little water pressure to get the soap out of my hair. And so we have one upstairs in the second bathroom, but being it's upstairs, it's not as strong with the water pump downstairs. And so it's kind of water pressure is no good in some houses, even downstairs. That is a complaint, very common complaint. Good morning, Angelo. Good morning. Heidi, any opinion on Vancouver, Canada? I did make a statement in the beginning. So yeah, I got really upset about it. So if you want to rewatch that, I did. And my heart goes out to the people 100%. It's a tragedy. Somebody said earlier that it was another Asian. It was a 30-year-old. I knew that. And they said the cops knew that he had mental issues. And it's been exactly a year since the other incident of the attack had happened over there in Canada. But it's a tragedy. I started out with that and I got really upset. You know, it's kind of like you watch it, watch it, and watch it. And then when I was making an announcement to the people, you just get overwhelmed because they were there to celebrate and there was a lot of people there. And Filipinos are there to fill jobs and nursing jobs and to help people. Yes, they've married Canadians and, these are second, third generation of Canadian Filipinos living there, but I'd say more so they're there to help, to work, they're there to make money. And then an incident like this happens on, the celebration of the Lapu-Lapu Festival. And it's very tragic. They're saying that it wasn't targeted for the them being Filipinos, but of course the Filipinos don't feel that that's what's going on. So it's just one crazy person is what happened. Just real bad luck. So Vancouver tragedy. Filipino Lapu-Lapu was watching election. Also came up. Sad day in Vancouver, Canada. Yeah. Looks like Philippines is losing to Thailand and Vietnam since they're pushing the digital nomad visas. Yeah. They've got to get the infrastructure together. One of the big reasons, probably top three, that people are coming here is, I keep hearing it over and over again, is the language barrier. Over all the other countries, um, for me, learning the language after a certain age, it's become harder. Like I've got so many other things going on throughout the day, and then that it's just not sticking. I know some basic words. I watch, like I'll leave the television on and listen, and I'm picking up on it. But I guess somewhere in the back of my mind, being as I know most of them do speak English, I haven't learned it, and it's like I don't have any room inside my head for this today situation. And they say it's an easy language to learn. I don't feel that it is, but it could just be that, I don't know. But learning the language should become a priority for people. But it's not like I'm having to use it, like um, I'm not doing a job where I have to talk on the phone and it's my bread and butter and all that. I mean, I came here to somewhat relax and I already knew they spoke English. George speaks English. If George didn't, and it was a matter of me communicating with my husband, I probably would have learned the language a long time ago. But people should. But the language barrier is what has people come here over those other countries. And then they said that the women are more beautiful, more caring. I've heard all kinds of things that, the dating is the other thing that brings them here versus all the other countries. So, um, and some just like the activities. So the other activities. Oh, Pablo's saying that I already mentioned it. Okay. So Mike was saying that, yeah. So I'm going to say it was about 2 years ago because when not this February, but the previous February I think it had already been a year. So this makes the second year. It's kind of, yeah, because everybody was excited, but I don't think they knew. We knew the background checks, the insurance, but I didn't think they would restrict the countries, and they did. They wanted to be reciprocal, but I just don't think most Filipinos would qualify to go anyways. So, hey, SkyTech, what is going on? What is going on? Checking something here. It's the election. They have these election trucks going around, and I can actually hear it. And the other day, I heard one so bad, and I thought it was a truck. It was a guy on a three-wheel bike, not an electric bike either. And he had like two large speakers off the back of his bike, and it sounded like a full band. It was like, dum, 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 dum. And I thought for sure that's what was coming around where people are standing off the back. And it's not. It was just that loud. Hey, ugly tourist, what is going on? Hey, hey. Hey, Chippy Whisk, good morning. Has it been working for you? Fine, please. Well, that's good. I think it depends on the area too. July. That's a few months off. I don't know. We don't know. Honestly, we joked about like every year we've gone and done something or went to a hotel. The one year we went to the resort. I told George that I thought it would be hilarious, which is probably going to be too much. We're talking about getting it, or I am. I said we were going to get an inflatable pool and get a hot dog and like a barbecue grill out there and just hang out and give out hot dogs and hang out on, for our birthday here. But that sure seems like a lot of work, and someone's got to get out of the swimming pool, and I'm going to end up sunburned. So I can picture I'm trying to, like, it seems nice. And then, of course, the pool's disposable. So I wonder if the dogs will swim in it. That would probably be interesting. So, still haven't made any big plans yet. It'll probably more than likely. We talked about going to Longapo back in that area, and there's a bunch of little like beach resorts and those what do they call those little teepee like house things that they have that are near the beach. They got a few of them that are inexpensive. So, and then we'd have to figure out the pets. That would be the other thing. So we could take Mary with us, and we have cat feeders and water feeders. But for me, then that's when the cat boxes get nasty. So yeah, we would have to be back within a day or so. So a lot of jobs are being advertised as remote, right? Yeah. But when you get interviewed, they tell you you need to be in the office at least 3 days a week. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so I'm not really sure who would really qualify for these. Yeah, because there's like other jobs, and if it's service and this and that, and you start looking into getting like people have looked into it here, well, they need equipment, specific equipment for it to be sent. They're not going to ship it all the way to the Philippines to do an online job, anyways. So for online work, and you won't take the equipment out of the country sometimes too. Pinoy's third highest immigrant community is in Canada. Yeah. We also have a 2 horsepower water pump to draw water from the canal. Okay, that waters the plants and trees. So, hey, Filipina P, what is going on? The Westerners won't stop visiting and moving to the Philippines. Oh, yeah, they're not going to. They haven't forever since the beginning of time. If the military has set foot in these different countries, and they're going to bring in the Westerners for sure that are coming here. And things are improving even from 4 years ago, like the deliveries and being able to get like available items. Like if they're not in the stores, and you order and you adjust, and the amount of, there's a lot of positive going on. So Kubo. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Well, they're like to buy a Kubo. These were like the triangle teepee houses. They had like these huts, and they're air conditioned. And the one place we were looking at has 3 or 4 of them that's near the beach and an individual property, and it's really close. I'm like, okay, I won't have to do a lot of walking, and it'd be pretty cool and everything else, and just be able to go in there. So all right, guys. I wanted to come in and let you guys know about the Digital Nomad Visa, and I appreciate everybody coming in. And then George will be with me tomorrow. I thought he'd be coming in the middle of the live here. So we'll be doing a live tomorrow. So thank you for everybody that was in here, for our members. Thank you, Carol. Hey, Chippy, thank you for dropping in. Victor, our Philippine journey was in the house. Lou, hey, Pablo, Slick Rick, Cindy, thank you, M Doggy Full, Sarah, Scott, Ted. I'm just kind of quickly scrolling through here. Tony was in the house, M Doggy Full. So if I skip somebody, usually we just go in there. Laura, of course. Guys, consider membership. And if you're not subscribed, be sure you subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay out of trouble. Have your cat spayed and neutered. Have your husband spayed and neutered.